If you've ever heard something like this, or maybe like this, and you want to learn how to play like that, then this is a lesson for you. What is up, friends? My name is Kevin Castro, and today I'm going to show you how to play 3 of the most essential jazz progressions that you have surely heard over and over again in your favorite jazz standards. If you play the piano, you need to learn these 3 essential jazz progressions because it's going to make you so much more fluent in the language, in the vocabulary, and you're going to start to recognize these progressions when you hear them in actual jazz standards. Make sure you stick around to the end of this video because I will be sharing my #1 secret when it comes to playing jazz standards in every single key. All right, let's get into it. Progression #1. This is called rhythm changes. And if you're gonna learn about any progression today and remember it and practice it, I would recommend it being this one. Because this is from George Gershwin's I Got Rhythm, which is such an iconic piece of music in jazz history. So much so that people have taken this chord progression and used it in countless other jazz standards. All right, so rhythm changes looks and sounds like this. Okay, so we're gonna learn this 1 chord at a time. So the first little bit goes like this: C major 7, G, B, C, and E. I'm gonna be playing a C note on my left hand. Then we're gonna transition to A minor 7. So just a really subtle change. All I did was move from B to A with my right hand. And these are inversions that I'm playing. So now I have G, A, C, and E. Next up, we have D minor 7, F, A, C, and D. Really nice chord, which is gonna lead us to our G7. F, G, B, and D. So those first 4 chords are very important. C major 7, which we call the 1 chord, A minor 7, which we call the 6 chord, D minor 7, which is called the 2 chord, and G7, which is called the 5 chord. So this first progression is 1, 6, 2, and 5. So when you're playing this, you want to try holding this for 1, 2, 3, 4. So for 2 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the next chord is very similar to C major 7 with just 1 difference. We have G, B, D, and E. So instead of our C note, now we have D. And our left hand is going to play E in the left hand, which makes E minor 7. Then we're gonna go up to our A, but instead of playing a minor 7, we're gonna play A dominant 7, which sounds a little bit different. This is called the secondary dominant. It sounds like this: G, A, C sharp, and E. So from E minor 7 to A7, and then we end off with our 2-5 again, which is D minor 7 to G7. Now that might have been a lot, so let's take it 4 chords at a time. So the first 4 go like this: C major 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, G7. Now the next 4 chords: E minor 7, A dominant 7, D minor 7, G7. And this is such a popular progression because it can sound like this. And all I was doing there was adding some comping rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm just playing a lot of those offbeats, which is really, really popular in jazz. But in order to learn this progression, first you just want to learn how to play these chords. And then you can start adding your own rhythms and making it fancy, because jazz is all about improvisation. So the more you can add your own flavor, your own musical signature to this progression, the better. All right, so we have an amazing practice feature for you if you want to get even better at this progression. And one of the great things about it is it has this loop section where you can follow along with the sheet music that we have for you, and you can loop this progression over and over again, because in regular jazz music, this progression can, repeat for an entire song. And that's what rhythm changes is. So if you really want to get really solid at this progression, make sure you check out our practice feature. You can check it out by clicking the link below for a free 7-day trial. Okay, progression #2 is actually a really beautiful descending minor chord progression. We actually have a clip here from one of our piano coaches, Sang Anuna, playing a little bit of that. Okay, so one of the reasons why this sounds so beautiful is because of that descending bass line. It's just moving down chromatically. It's starting on this E note, then moves down to E flat, then D, and then D flat and C. And the majority of these chords are minor chords, and in fact, they're called minor nines. And this is such a beautiful chord voicing. Chord voicing is just the way you play the notes in what order you play them in. So the first chord is E minor 9, E, G, B, D, and F sharp. And this is a really staple part of one of the jazz standards I like to play a lot called Autumn Leaves, where there's this one progression, and it sounds like this. Okay, so one of the reasons why this sounds so pretty is because of this minor 9 chord shape. We're using minor 9 chords and a dominant 13 chord, which sounds very jazzy, but don't worry because it's a lot easier than it looks. So here's what we need to do. E minor 9 sounds like this. Here's our E minor 7, but I need to split it up between 2 hands to get this 9th. So if I just show you the right hand first, it's gonna sound like this. And so my right hand is gonna play G, B, D, and F sharp, which you might say, Kevin, that's a G major 7. But if I play my E on the left hand, now it unlocks a bigger chord by using both hands, and this is called E minor 9. And now here is the thing that is so simple. All you have to do is move every single note down a semitone. Did you catch that? One more time, E minor 9. Now if I move everything down one semitone, I have E flat minor 9. So now the notes are E flat, G flat, B flat, D flat, and F. And check it out. Same trick. Take this, move everything down one semitone. That's such a simple trick. E minor 9, it's down a semitone, down a semitone. You just gotta get familiar with those shapes. So one more time from the beginning. E minor 9 is E, G, B, D, F sharp. E flat minor 9, E flat, G flat, B flat, D flat, and F. D minor 9, D, F, A, C, and E. So those are 3 minor 9s in a row. Then we get to this crunchy chord, D flat 13. And the thing that makes this chord sound so cool is it's got a little bit of a cluster in there. These 2 notes, it sounds really bad on its own, but when you add a little bit of a couple of sixths on the outside and a D flat, this creates a little bit of tension so that when you get to that C minor 9 or C major 9, it sounds very resolved. So D flat 13, these are the notes. D flat on the left hand, F, B flat, B natural, and E flat. And then you're gonna resolve to C major 9 at the very end. So C octaves left hand, E, G, B, and D, all white notes. So let's try this really slowly. So let's hold it for 2 beats each. So it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, a little bit of tension, and then C major 9. You can even, it sounds so nice. Okay, progression number 3 is the 2-5-1 progression. Probably the most important progression in all of jazz because most of jazz is just made up of 2-5-1s. So if you can master this exercise, you're gonna be able to play pretty much any jazz standard. Okay, so 2-5-1, what is a 2-5-1? Well, there's 3 chords we have to know. I'm gonna start off in the key of C. Sounds like this, D minor 7 to G7 to C major 7. So there are 3 different types of chords we're learning. We're learning our minor 7, we're learning our dominant 7, and we're learning our major 7 where it resolves. And really, this is all just a pattern. So let me show you the right hand first on what this looks like. D minor 7, if you can get your D minor 7 chord, it's a D minor triad with that flatted 7th up here. All you're gonna do for this trick to get to our second inversion, G7, is move this note right here, your middle finger, down 1 full tone, so 2 semitones, so like this. And then your pinky is gonna move down 1 semitone. And that will always bring you to your G7. Now, the 2 left fingers here are gonna do the same thing. This finger goes down 2 semitones, and this finger goes down 1 semitone. The same exact pattern, and that will bring you to your C major 7. Now, why am I telling you about the patterns? Well, because once you do 1 cycle of this, now you're gonna take this C note, your root, play C minor 7. Now let's follow that same formula pattern we did. So 2 semitones, and then a semitone here, Now we have F7. If I do the same thing with these two, brings me to B flat major 7. You just did another 2-5-1 leading to B flat. And now if I keep that going, B flat minor 7, 2 semitones, 1 semitone, E flat 7, A flat major 7. And the trick is to keep this cycle going all the way through all the keys, because in jazz, you really want to learn how to master all the keys. And if you get good at this warm-up, you're going to be able to play pretty much any jazz standard. And once you get to D major 7, you've pretty much done the whole cycle, because if I do it again, I'm at D minor 7, G7 to C7. Okay, so if we put this hands together, let's try this together right here. D and C, we're gonna be playing the root and the 7th here. So D and C, then we're gonna move to G and B in your left hand, and then keep B here and just add C to 1 and 7 again. So we're going from 1 and 7, 1 and 3, 1 and 7. And when you're at C major 7 to start over the next cycle, all you have to do is take your C note where you're at and turn it from a major 7 to a minor 7 chord. And you do the same pattern again. Now, if you want help with this, I'm gonna notate every single 2-5-1 in both cycles, because right now we're kind of skipping a few of the keys. So here's F sharp, here's B7, here's E major 7, here's E minor 7, A7, and then D major 7, and you've completed it, because at the very end, we start over where we started in our C major 7 right here. Now that takes a lot of practice, and this is actually an excellent way to warm up before you start playing piano, especially if you're gonna start playing some jazz standards, is to just try doing your cycle. All right, so that was our first cycle of 2-5-1 progressions. If you wanna get good at both the cycles and be able to play them in every single key, all you have to do is work on this using our practice feature in the members area. And that way you can slow it down, you can speed it up, take it at your own pace, and learn every single 2-5-1. All right, so there it is, the 3 most essential jazz progressions. Please let me know which one your favorite is in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next lesson.